Hello and welcome to One Card Wonder Wednesday for today, Wednesday, August 1st, 2018. Today I want to show you this brand new stamp set that is going to be available during the month of August only, and it is called Blended Seasons. There is a promotion called Color Your Season, and like I said, it's available through August 31st, and you can buy the stamp set and the Stitched Season Framelits together for the wood mount for a price of $77.25 and the clear mount is $64.75. And there is also a set of watercolor pencils in new colors: Cherry Cobbler, Flirty Flamingo, Cajun Craze, Crushed Curry, Granny Apple Green, Garden Green, Coastal Cabana, Balmy Blue, Night of Navy, and Gorgeous Grape. So it's a set of 10. And those are going to be for $12.50, and they are also going to be during the month of August. We do not know if they'll be coming in a later catalog or if they're only going to be available during August. I don't know. I wanted to make sure I got them to add them to my other watercolor pencils just because they're wonderful colors. Now this stamp set is so versatile because it pretty much covers all the seasons, spring and summer, with these leaves and the flowers. You've got fall with the fall leaves, and the little wheat stalks I think are perfect for fall cards as well. And then you've got the holly and the berries and the bell for Christmas and the Merry Christmas sentiment. I really love this sentiment on this first box, first case. It's called You're the Friend Everyone Wishes They Had. I just think that's a beautiful sentiment. I just love it. And now these framelits are extremely, well, very unique for anything that Stampin' Up! Has done, because these wonderful framelits, dies, they have stitching on both sides. So in this card that I'm making today, you'll see how that stitching just brings a pop to your card. So anyway, let's get started and I'll show you the card we're going to make. We're not using the watercolor pencils today, but we are going to be using the wishing you all the best. And then I also used one of the dies, the leaf die, and then these two largest frames. Sorry, I feel like I have something in my throat. I need to take a quick drink of water. Here's the card that we are going to be making, which I thought was really adorable. I started with a gray granite background for the card. And of course, now that I'm starting my video, there we go. Here's my gray granite. Go ahead and fold that in half so it's ready when we're ready to make the card. Go ahead and use the bone folder. I always like to do that first just to get that done and over with. And then it's ready to go for the card. So I'm going to set this aside just so you can see it while we're working on the card. Now I went ahead and I've already cut these out, and I just kept them stuck together so you could see I only used the two framelits, but you end up with, of course, this middle piece that can definitely be used for another card, and it already has the stitching on it. That's the beauty of these. They have the stitching on the inside part that cuts out, and then also on the outside part. So on this one, we're going to have 3 rows of stitching on this card. I went ahead and already put my, can't talk today. I already put my dimensionals on here, and I have a piece of Whisper White cardstock that is 3.5 by 4.5. I believe it's 3.5, it may be 3. Sorry, just over 3 by 4.5. And I used the Woodland embossing folder with the beautiful birch trees on it, and ran that through the Big Shot already, so we would have this beautiful embossing. And then I went ahead and I'm going to show you what I did to give it just a little bit of color. As you can see, there's a little bit of color. I used some of the gray granite, which is our background color, and I took a sponge, just a wedge of one of our sponges, and I coated just the little edge piece of it, and just kind of lightly touch it so it really gives that birch tree look with, because you know when you see a birch tree in the forest, it's not just all white. It's got that little bit of gray brown color, and I think the gray granite is the perfect color for this. You just barely have to touch. I'm going to move this over here just so I don't put my hand in it. You just barely have to touch. You don't even have to swipe too much just to get a little bit of that color on those trees, because you don't want to end up with the gray granite color on the rest of your background there. You just want it on the trunks of the trees. I didn't do the little branches just because I felt I would end up with ink everywhere, so I just did just on the trunks. I think I missed this spot just a little bit. Just enough so you can see the trees in the background a little bit more. Now after I did that, blow off those two little pieces of sponge or whatever was left there, I took this piece out of the frame and just set the other frame piece aside. And I went ahead and laid it over the top of this. And obviously I don't want these edges here, so I just took it, move it to where I want it, and then I just took my paper snips and just cut off these little corners, because we don't need those little corners. We don't want those corners. You could leave them there just because of the way the card is layering, but I just wanted to show you this technique so you could do it if you weren't using the extra outside frame part as well. And then all I did was I used some of the Tombow glue, and I just went around these little edges just a little bit, just enough so we can get this, the Whisper White with the trees adhered. And I used the Tombow because I wanted to be able to move it just in case my trees didn't look like they were standing straight. And then I just pushed it down and pressed it to make sure it was stuck good. And while that's drying, I'm just going to set that aside. I went ahead and I cut a piece of Cajun Craze cardstock, and this piece I cut just about 4 1/8. And I used the triple banner punch, and when I put it in the triple banner punch, I didn't go all the way to the end like this. I just brought it just to where that little tip was, the end of it was even with this, and I snipped it. And then I did the same with that end because I wanted to make sure it stayed about the length or the width of the card. And now on this banner, I went ahead and used Memento ink and just ink up your stamp. I used the Wishing You All the Best. You could use any of the sentiments that you like. And I just centered it, but I also put it more toward the bottom. So I have a little bit of extra space on the top of the Cajun Craze banner. And now this should be dry enough. Now that we've got that already stamped, we'll just set that aside. And I'm just gonna lay this back in here. This is what made it easier for me to make sure I got it on the card correctly. I'm gonna remove all of these backs from the adhesive. I would have done this part earlier, but I would have ended up with this stuck to one of the other pieces of the project and didn't want that to happen. So I didn't quite get prepped as much as I would have liked to. I would have liked to have already had these peeled off just so it, you know, the video doesn't go too long for y'all, because I don't want to make these so long that you don't want to watch them. I want them to be enjoyable and quick and easy for you to watch. The second thing I did now is I took some of the Tombow glue, staying on the inside. You do not want to get it on this outside frame, just on the inside, because we're going to glue this little part down. Normally I would use some other type of adhesive like the snail or Terran tape, but I wanted this part to make sure it stayed down. I need to pull this off to the side because I want to make sure it stays together like this when you're looking at it at the front. And I want to try to get it centered, obviously. And I'm going to make sure the outside edges, you know, are stuck first because those are on the dimensionals, and then we'll stick this middle down. And then I'll make sure these are Well, it looks like my piece shifted a little bit now, of course, because I'm on camera and I'm trying to make sure it's not glued to the top piece, and now it looks like it's glued to the top piece. Awesome. Good job, Val. I just want to get it around on that edge. There we go. Okay, and now you can see where it's got that little bit of that edge there, just like this one. You get, it's a little bit of a dimension. Now, you can always do this with different colors. If I had chose to, I could have taken several pieces of different colored cardstock and cut this out, so I could have had, you know, Cajun Craze on the outside, then the Mossy Meadow, you know, and the Whisper White, or vice versa, or, you know, whatever color you wanted. So now that that's done, I went ahead and took this piece of Cajun Craze and I put some dimensionals on that. I put one in the center, one toward the edge, and one toward the edge. But I left a little bit of space because those are going to be on the edge here sticking up, and you don't want those sticking that edge down because you want to keep that dimension. And I just kind of put it just a little bit so you have a little bit of the trees showing underneath. A little bit at the top. Throw these away, get those out of the way. I also die cut a couple of leaves with the Cajun Craze, and I used the Tombow glue for those as well. And I think I'm going to put one on this side this time, just to make it a little different than the first one. And I just got a touch of glue there on the edge, but that's okay. I'll just scoop that up with a paper towel because it's not gonna, you know, it'll dry clear that little bit that's left. And I'm gonna put one on this edge this time. I'm gonna just put a little bit on the stem of the leaf again. And this time I'll try to actually get it in there without getting glue all over. Yeah, didn't quite work well, but at least that one will be covered a little bit with the rest of the leaf. There we go, we'll stick that one down just a little bit more. And then I took a piece of the burlap ribbon and I cut it about 2 inches. And then from that 2 inches, I took and just snipped just to give it that little tail. And I also used a piece about 3 inches long of the navy and white gingham ribbon. Did the same. I put them together and I tied them together with a piece of the linen thread just to give it that little indent in the middle to kind of make it look like a bow. I took a glue dot, and then you just stick a glue dot right in the center. And I actually stuck it to the top of the Cajun Craze, just in the center. And there you have it. There's your wishing you all the best card, which I think could be used as a birthday card for anyone with a birthday in the fall. You could use it as a Thanksgiving card with a sentiment on the inside that has something to do with Thanksgiving. I actually didn't do that because I wasn't thinking about Thanksgiving when I was making it. I was thinking more of a fall birthday, but now that I'm looking at it, I think it would make a really cute Thanksgiving card. Like I said, this is from the Blended Season stamp set that is going to be available only in August 1st through 31st. You get 2 cases, and there are, every season is included in this stamp set. I don't know why I'm so tongue-tied today. If you buy it with the bundle, you can buy the Stitched Framelits with it as well, and you can get them in, you know, wood mount or clear mount, which the clear mount are the red rubber, but they stick to your acrylic blocks. I think these dies are absolutely gorgeous with the stitching on both sides of where you cut it out and then what's left. I think that makes it a fabulous set. And don't forget there's also the colored pencils and the new colors that you can get. And I wanted to tell you too, there is bonus days during August. For every $50 you spend, you can earn a $5 coupon that you can spend in September. you can earn as many as you want. You can earn 100 of them if you spend that much money. You can take those $5 coupons and you can put them all on one order in September as well. So there's no limit on how many you can earn, and there's no limit on how many you can spend in September. If you do earn them, remember that they will send them to you via email. Do not delete the emails, because those will have your coupon codes that you want to use when you place your orders. I hope you liked today's One Card Wonder Wednesday. I love this card. Fall is my favorite season, so I was thrilled to do this card. I hope you have a great day, and I will be back next week. Bye.